And it says we're live.
Yeah, lies. Can y'all see the shirt? Am I blending in or anything? Okay. For those, if you want to keep the air conditioner running, donate here, please. Seriously, it's 100. It was 119 yesterday. If you like coffee, and later on we're gonna have a little bit more about this. But if you like coffee, order from these guys. Let them know that you heard about it here. Maybe they'll send us more coffee.
Hot coffee, not cold coffee.
Cold coffee's offense onto Nuggin. Somebody was making Cedar about how for somebody who doesn't like attention, I wear this. A little bit of tradecraft. If you wear a very loud shirt and you have a neutral colored shirt under it, and things go
Sideways.
Rodeo,
Parachute.
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
You dump you dump the shirt, and all the police or authorities looking for is the guy in the really loud shirt. So
I had that thought. Okay, so the wife and I have been watching old episodes of Unsolved Mysteries,
Mhm.
and they were talking about the fumbles, the bank robber in Florida.
Yeah.
How every time he came in, he fumbled something. And I'm like, tradecraft.
Yeah. It's Hawaiian shirts or camo. Yes, they are.
really loud ones.
Yeah.
It's like if I do something dumb, daft, or fun, all the witnesses are going to remember is this shirt. And when the cops find it in a dumpster later,
Yeah.
break contact and disappear. So in our Tuesday, Jim is going to have an update on Nauticon later on, but let's get the stuff out of the way first. Anthology All Will Burn. All Will Burn closes August 31st. We are going to have a second one, so go ahead and send in your stories. But the first one, number one, is closing August 31st. Moggies in Space Part 2. Also closes August 31st. Again,
5.
there will be a Moggies Part 2 or Part 3. This is from Moggies 2. There will be a Moggies Part 3. But go ahead and turn in your stories so we can get this one on the presses. Pinup Noir 2 closes September 30th. Uh-oh.
And that's the Ice Blonde.
Yes. What had happened was book 2 in the Spurgle Chronicles also closes September 30th. All right. So that's your task is start turning in some stories.
Oh, and in other note, if you send into Moggies, you're automatically in consideration for 3 and possibly 4. Same thing with All Will Burn. You're in for consideration for all the issues.
This should go without saying.
Yeah. But we just wanna-
Raconteur Press goes multiple editions of our anthologies. If you're in for the first one, you're in contention for all the others. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Also, and I'm looking at you. Yes, you personally. Jim needs stories for his oil patch anthology.
Yes, please. I've got 3. I need at least 10. Oil patch, 1890s to 1930s, preferably Texas. We'll take anywhere. It does not have to be about oil drillers or pipeliners. It can be a romance. It can be a noir. I don't care what it is as long as it has the oil patch in it. It's due the end of the month, so a week. Right fast.
As Larry Correa and Steve Diamond pointed out, this should not be a surprise.
Yeah.
Um,
Since I am doing this for a benefit for the library, I really don't want to hear the zoom of the deadline going by.
right.
You got a whole week. There's no reason, people.
One other thing is we've been getting questions about the recipe book.
Recipe
the
book.
cookbook.
We finally got all the organization on the back end put together.
That was fun.
So
That was
because
fun.
wow.
If you know anybody, we will happily take recipes from authors. Please, authors, send in your recipes. However, if you have somebody author adjacent and you would like to see their name on a book somewhere, have your wife.
Mona Lisa, you suggested it. Write it.
Okay.
I'll sit here quietly.
Oil and water don't mix. Oil patch enemies to lovers romance.
There you
got
go.
it. Write it.
Hit
Do
it, little
it,
sister.
do it.
You got to wait. and you can do it in a week. I
I can
have faith.
totally crank that out in a week.
I have
mean,
faith.
That's a good day.
yeah,
I'm already pissed off Richard Cartwright. 'cause-
yeah, I know. You stuck up with another one. I love that.
Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah, so recipes, we'll go into more detail on Thursday.
Yes.
It's rackpressrecipes@gmail.com if you have one you want to do now.
And we're actually gonna start a separate live stream
Yeah.
for
For big
Rack
announcements.
Press News because good God. Also, if you think this one's loud, Kelly Grace and I have been voluntold that we're doing the charity auction at Pecan. If you like your eyeballs, you might not want to be there because the shirt I'm going to be wearing is a war crime in 14 countries.
Sunglasses. Bring your sunglasses.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Anyway, not a con.
Oh, not a con. Well, a few of us got together to support Rob Hampson this weekend down in San Antonio,
San
or to
Antonio.
be pedantic, San Antonio.
San Antonio.
San Ant.
So, a number of us showed up on Friday, and it was an interesting drive down in more ways than one. Not the least of which is going by Lampasas Airport, which is a little strip
That
in
was
the
cool.
middle
Yeah.
of nowhere, and seeing not one, not two, not three, but four 1940s, 50s Navion aircraft sitting there, two of which are flyable and two others undergoing restoration. And I looked at that and I called Dot and I said, "Hey, did you see that?" No, God.
What?
It's showing the camo.
Oh, why ruin the surprise? Oh,
No.
Oh,
let him
it'll,
finish what he's doing.
it'll still be a surprise.
Stop it. Stop it.
Okay.
So I called her up and I said, "Did you see those Navions?" And she went, "Yes, those should not be there."
Yeah, you guys were pretty funny talking about that.
Yeah.
So,
So Dot, since she was passenger and Peter was driving, got to doing some research. It turns out one of the resident experts in the United States on Navion restorations bolted from California and set up shop in Lampasas, Texas.
Lampasas by God, Texas.
Yep.
hey, it's a very tiny little airport. It looks nice. So.
And the friggin' gate was locked and I couldn't sneak in and look at him. Had to take pictures through the fence.
Oh.
And so Friday night, end up going over to Rob's mother's house by invitation. And
Rob's mother is a sweetheart, by the way.
oh, she is a hoot.
She's a bacon thief.
Yeah, she's that too. So one of the neighbors was over who happens to be a retired W-3 Army helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
So he and I get to go in at each other
Of course.
between the aviation stories and the Army versus Navy. And Chris Smith is throwing the odd story in about his dad and A-10s. And Rob is just sitting over in the corner going, pour another drink. And we would get to laughing. And his mother would come out occasionally and go, and she was sitting in the other room, apparently listening. To us.
Listening in.
So we quit. Well, I quit early. None of the ladies showed up. They were smart.
They were exhausted.
We were tired. We stopped and had lunch with Jack and
Yeah.
had a rollicking good time.
Yeah.
So we didn't get there. We saw Jack Wild there. It was great. So,
Yeah. So Saturday, I get up my normal time. I go downstairs. I am
Crack of yawn.
I am the only soul in the restaurant.
No.
The only one. And the girl comes over and goes, "Would you like breakfast?" Yeah, feed me. So ate breakfast. And we had a room set up. So we were sitting down there talking. And people started meandering in slowly. And we were going to go over about 2 or 2:30 to support, 1:30 to support the signing. Well, Mona Lisa and Rick had come down from Dallas. And so we get over to the Barnes and Noble, and Mona Lisa's wandering the store and finds copies of Analog. With her story in it.
Sweet.
And she's going, "Hey guys, there's this my book, the story."
Sign them.
Yeah.
Go sign them.
So we went over, grabbed a copy. Here, sign it. Don't you have to pay for it first? Just sign it. I'm going to pay for it. And they were poking fun at her.
It's
Said,
not-
"You ought to sign the rest of them too."
It's not like that little thing could get away.
Yeah. So come back over and we buy books. And of course, Sandra was also there, and they had copies of Foundation Effect.
Sweet.
So we were getting signatures from her, Rob, and Chris Smith, who didn't bother to bring a friggin' pen.
I don't know why that surprises you.
Well, I kept loaning him my pen, then I have to go chase the son of a bitch down to get my pen back.
Yeah, that's
That's why you
Chris.
carry 2 pens.
Yeah.
I'm learning when I go to conventions to carry 2 pens.
Yeah.
You would not believe the number of authors I know that are going to be hit up for for autographs that don't carry pens.
So after that, I think it went fairly well. We adjourned to a local restaurant where the rest of us had a chance to sell some things,
Which we did quite a
which
bit.
we did. We sold a few books.
Yeah, it was good sales for us. So
And with my back, I have to get up and walk. So I've wandered the parking lot. And
In
there's such
San
a
Antonio, Texas.
1972 Javelin SST.
oh my God, wasn't that the most gorgeous car? It was
Yes.
parked right next to me. I was like, I could just get in that one and drive off. Oh, it was just gorgeous.
So I come
Oh.
back and I'm commenting on it, and Sandra says, "Oh, well, my husband's in that club. The owner of the car is sitting right over there." So I walk over, introduce myself. I said,
Of course you did.
"That's a beautiful restoration." He goes, "Ain't restored." I
No.
say, "What?"
Yeah.
172,000 actual miles, 1972 Javelin SST.
Sweet.
Looks like it's totally restored.
Stunning. And I was like, I'm going to open my door very slowly
Oh, yeah.
and not ding this guy. So
I mean, even the striping on it
it's beautiful.
was not cracked.
Absolutely stunning.
That car has had to have been in the garage.
It must have been undercover
Yeah.
Or a
since
barn.
the
It's
day,
Texas. It
or
was
a
in a
barn
barn.
or
Yeah,
something,
it's a
and it's
barn.
never been on the road in the winter. It was perfection.
It was beautiful.
Stunning.
Well,
Even
the
the interior.
winters down in South Central Texas, Jonna,
hmm
are a little bit different than the winters up here.
But
You can
still,
wear shorts to go Christmas shopping.
We don't wear shorts in Oregon to go Christmas shopping. We just wear Birkenstocks and a parka. So, anyway,
Well, that was my ex-wife's comment about, when she moved out of Texas was, I'm going to miss being able to wear shorts to go Christmas shopping.
So
anyway, but yeah,
we
It was-
also did a little birthday cake for
For
Sandra and
and
Chris.
yeah.
And typical me, spend 4 hours in a restaurant and I forgot to order food. So
What?
I never got anything to eat.
You didn't eat? Oh, but you had some cake, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got a piece of cake.
Yeah.
And
How do you sit at a restaurant and not order something to eat?
He was sitting there selling books.
yeah, I was
Oh.
selling books.
That's what he was doing. He was behind the table
You
selling
do well
books.
selling books?
Yeah, did decent.
Yeah.
And
it
then
was, I
Chris-
didn't expect to sell anything. And we had several people come
Yeah.
in just because Sandra had advertised we'd be there.
Yeah.
So it was good.
And Crystal's dad showed up, who happened to be a retired W3 warrant officer helo pilot from Vietnam era.
And he bought all the Malta books.
Yeah.
So,
Did he then?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did. So
So, and he was a hoot.
So can I ask you, Texan, something?
Okay.
Why are there giant cocks all over Hill Country?
Yeah.
Because
And
there's.
That's a
I'm talking about
semi-new-
giant sculptures, guys. Because of course you go the obvious place, but they're everywhere. It's like everybody has this wackadoodle yard art giant cock thing going on,
Well,
and I'm
it's-
like, what is this?
It's like, why are there horse statues all over Wichita
Well,
Falls?
that's a promotional thing. The city just does that. They have ducks in Oregon, and they have Eskimos up in Vancouver. That's a thing that cities have done. But this is just randomly at weird houses and fancy houses and whatever, and they're everywhere.
It's kind of new. That's
Yeah,
within
it's
the
new.
last 5
Yeah.
years.
Well, some of them look like they've been there for more than 5 years. So I don't know what it is with you guys.
Texas summers are
I was
hard.
like, and who has the biggest one? It's very amusing.
It gets hot enough for your
Texan.
gets hot enough for your brains to melt and run out your ears, and you do
Yeah.
shit like that.
Not going there. So back to the hotel again. And we sat down there till about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And poor Mona Lisa was tired.
Zonked out.
She zonked out on us. And Rick is just sitting there scratching her back. And you can just see her like,
It's really, God, that woman's descended from cats.
"Mm."
She's actually a,
No, we're not going to talk about the Japanese Fertility Festival on here. No.
no. Oh. There's a reason that I made Mona Lisa a uplifted Maine Coon attack pilot in my uplifted series.
Yeah. But Sunday, again, I get up, I go down. I'm the only one in the restaurant again. Go down to the room, and there's no TV in the room. It's just a room. But the overhead speakers are blasting singing. I was like, wait a minute. So I go down, I find the lady's front desk. I said, we have a problem. The speakers in the room are on loud and singing. And she gave me the, "Meh." Okay, I'll see what I can find out. Well, about this time, everybody else starts showing up. And I'm going, yeah, guys, room's kind of loud. They're supposedly working on it. Apparently, the guy that controls the banquet stuff was nowhere to be found.
Uh-oh.
So this little girl that was filling in apparently went and started flipping switches.
Oh,
What does this do?
like disco lights.
Yeah. Well, apparently there were no disco lights in that room, but we finally got the music off. And then we adjourned down there after everybody had sat out in the lobby and upset everybody in the lobby with our laughter. But it was a good time. And
Is this going to be a yearly thing or a one-time?
don't know. It depends on what Rob and the family want to do down there. But it was a lot of fun and well worth the trip. Good to see friends. And probably the nicest thing was basically 4 days of no internet, no TV, no nothing. Just sitting around having fun, BSing with folks. Thank you. What did we get a thank you for?
Oh, something I ordered earlier.
Oh. So a good weekend was had. And no arcade. I didn't know there were any samovars brought. Jonna,
There's Courtney's car.
Courtney's car. It was, Becky. Sorry y'all couldn't make it. Well, it matches your shirt.
Only in parts. Does it really?
Yeah.
I don't think it matches.
I think it would make a nice tie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah, I'm a little scatterbrained today.
Winkle red, really. I'm glad I wasn't taking a drink when you said that.
Yeah, I'm a little scatterbrained today. It's been a rough week.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Isn't that a day ending in Y?
Yeah.
Rougher than most. Okay.
Sir Brass, don't you start. Steph, really? See what you did? It was a nice, clean show until
Please. Please.
Klingon, here we come.
Anywho,
Hey,
I had something to talk about actually, and now I can't remember what the hell it was.
No.
Must not have been important.
I do have one. The women in
Oh,
Army Special Operations Forces are being forced to buy their own armor. and their own equipment.
because everything they've got is sized for men.
For men, yes.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
And they have been trying since 2019 to study what women need.
Have you ever asked a woman what she needs?
But wait. There was a study done while I was in Iraq, so that's sometime between 2004
Yeah.
and 2010, to redesign armor and equipment for female needs.
Yeah, but they never did anything with it.
But they should still have data unless some Beltway bandit has
Mhm.
convinced the Pentagon.
Now this is the Army doing it again.
Yeah, that's
Well-
Beltway.
The thing of it is this is a two-part non-problem. I'm here to tell you, having spent 26 years in law enforcement, that this is not confined to special operations
Yeah.
forces.
Mm-mm.
This is armor for women is complex, and it's not yet just don't do the boobs. It doesn't work, guys. Fitting women for armor is complex.
Yeah.
Two, unless things have changed a long time since I was in there, buying your own armor is not a bad idea. Period. Even if you're a guy.
Yeah.
Um,
But Army regulations states you can no longer do that.
oh, it's special op. It's
Yeah, but
they,
that's because of dragon skin.
Yeah.
which are
Well,
really
it's-
good armor.
But the one of the comments from the person in charge apparently said, well, when we asked women, they didn't give us a specific area that was bothering them.
Every male on this chat who's ever asked his female significant other where she wanted to eat, this is not a surprise.
Yeah. But the fact that most of the armor has never been made in extra small,
Yeah.
the percentage of smalls that they order
Mm-hmm.
is what, 5% maybe?
Based on experience, I'd say 2 to 3, but
Your,
Well,
special,
even my daughter had a problem as a paramedic.
your special operations forces, unless things have changed, I'm guarantee you they haven't, is you're going to have a bunch of buff guys, 5'8" to 6 foot. That's who you buy your supplies for.
Yeah.
When 99.94% of the people you
Right.
buy for 5'8" to 6 foot, 175 pounds.
Well, and also men are fairly standard with their measurements.
Yeah.
Even, across 6'2", you can pretty much guarantee people will be. There may be some variation in length of body and stuff, but waist and leg and arms and things, it's pretty standard. But with women, you can have an incredibly powerful woman who has really big hips and a really tiny waist
Yeah.
because she's got a lot of lower body strength.
Yeah.
You can have women who have great big shoulders and no hips.
Yeah.
Women have a much larger variation in fit model. So it's really, really hard to do anything standard or send out standard contracts like the U.S. Army usually does.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if they would reimburse them for buying armor that fits them,
Which they won't.
which they won't,
No.
but that would be the solution. But I mean, that would be forward thinking. And how can we possibly have that with our government?
Well, and it also comes in with the Alice packs,
Everything.
the LBEs. My daughter, paramedic, had a problem
Yeah.
getting pants and boots.
Mhm.
She would buy the female version of the pants and then have to take them and get them tailored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing for the shirt. Have to take them and get them
The
tailored.
last agency
Yeah.
Jim and I worked for.
Well, for the sheriff's department up
yeah.
in Oregon, I had to alter all the women's uniform things because women have so many more variables.
Yeah.
So, and they like to buy in bulk, and you buy in
Mhm.
bulk, and you have
Yeah.
to buy one size
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then tailor it down. But
The last agency Jim and I worked for, when they were providing armor for everyone, they had to call in the custom guy
Yeah.
for the female day.
Mhm.
And oh my God, the expense.
Yeah.
Holy Jesus.
yeah, welcome to women's clothing in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Because every one of them had to be, just about every one of them, if I remember right, had to be custom made.
Yep.
And that's, when you're custom making Kevlar, that ain't cheap.
Well, and you're also when somebody has to be athletic and be able to move and,
Yeah.
and do things like their special. It's like doing a ballet dancer, fitting someone you have to be able to move, and there are things that are going to change the arm size, the shape of the hip, the rise of the pants, everything
Yeah.
in affecting how they can move to do their job. And with guys, it's pretty standard.
Yeah.
You guys are like plug and play, you know.
One
Yes,
size
you-
fits most.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and that is another consideration that women have to deal with that is annoying.
Yeah.
But
Well, and the other one that was brought up in the article was the field urinary diversion device.
yeah, that's an issue too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's a reason women had split underwear way back when.
But as us guys know, the world is our bathroom.
Oh, yes.
Women, not so much. And when you put one or two women in with multiple junior males, apparently they,
Make jokes.
well,
It's the
apparently the women were refusing to go
Mm.
to the point that they were getting urinary tract infections and are getting dehydrated because they refuse to drink.
Right.
So once again, another set of problems. And of course, the military does not know how to fix that. I mean, in the Navy, they try to do that with the women's birthing,
Mm-hmm.
which not so jokingly became known as estrogen central. And the major problem.
Postman walked in at a really awkward time.
It's the Russians. I'm a spy.
See ya. You get an interesting look out of him, though. But one of the first things that they did when they went to the separated billeting was that the women's billeting all of a sudden started stopping up the plumbing on the ship.
What were they flushing down the commode?
I'll give you three
Everything.
guesses. The first two don't count.
Oh,
Ship. Yeah, it wasn't designed for it.
Was not designed for it. And Kermit birthing, Berthing. I know they do the other birthing.
you are definitely talked about in his circle. What?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Differs just said you are definitely talked about in his circles. And I'm not sure where that came from.
I'm not sure who she's talking to, you or me.
I know nothing.
Don't get me lying. I just work here. I just work here. Oh, the mailman. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, supposedly there are placards up on Navy ships nowadays with women on the ships
That's the thing about putting
for
up
that
placards.
very reason, and they still do it.
The thing about putting up placards, which we also discovered the last agency we worked for, that if you put up 15 squillion, nobody reads any of them.
Well, I'll put it this way, Jim. When I was in basic at Great Mistakes,
Yeah.
in 1985, we had a deep sink that didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, I had spent time doing plumbing, so yeah, I was assigned to do stuff like that. And I start pulling stuff out,
Yeah.
and I hooked women's underwear out of the P trap on a deep sink
Oh, I can believe it.
Not
in a
going there.
male only birthing.
Not going there. I know exactly how that happened. I'm not going there.
Oh, I know exactly how it happened too, and I'm not going there either.
I've been sergeant quarters at a cavalry barracks. I know exactly how women's underwear wound up down the sink.
Oh, RK.
Surprised the midget wasn't flushed along with them.
Yeah. RK did point out. She, in one of her jobs, worked at Arlington Station. And she happened to mention going down to a Thai restaurant on Glebe Road. It was next door to the Indian restaurant. And Bob Hampson and I both went, yeah, yeah, we know where that one is.
My shocked face. Let me show you it. First formation is in 30 minutes. I want the midgets, the midget strippers out of here in 10.
When Mom was working in Dallas,
Yeah.
They had a little Vietnamese girl come to work where she was working, whose parents had run a restaurant in Saigon
Ooh.
during the war. Now, Dad was there in '63. He remembered the restaurant because you could get Gulf lobster,
Yeah.
And water buffalo steaks the size of your head.
Yeah.
We moved from there to Somerville, which is near Brum. Dad starts talking to the retired colonel who's head of the Corps Engineers project. He remembered that restaurant. He'd eaten there in '68.
Yeah.
The thing about, I posted a comment on somebody else's page about being CQ, and you've never been CQ if you never had to yell, first formation in 30 minutes. I want the strippers, the midgets, and the midget strippers the hell out of here in 10. And 14 people went, you were CQ. You too. I picked up a hell of a lot of friends that
Yeah.
former Army CQ NCOs off that one comment.
Yeah, the worst one I've seen was the party back in the early 90s, mid 90s, up in DC. And it was a bunch of government contractors, government employees. And one of the guys was trying to remember the name of a restaurant in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember this one because you've been there too. And he couldn't think of the name, and he starts describing it. And damn near every guy at the party goes, Skogan to Frisco.
Let's go get a Frisco.
And all of the women go, "Meh." And how the hell do all of you know where that restaurant
Because
is?
the food was fantastic.
And I'm telling at the end, and he cracks up. He goes, I've been there.
Yeah.
Because they had a fish tank, I swear to God, about 8 or 10 feet wide,
Mhm.
and about 6 feet.
That's the only thing I remember about it, but I
Yeah.
remember that fish tank.
And you could pick the fish
Pick
you
your fish.
wanted.
That one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time
Oh,
had a
Tom.
surprise inspection, and Tom will probably remember something along these lines. I had a surprise inspection, OCQ, and brigade CSM and the brigade commander got a wild hair and came in at Saturday morning at 07:30 hours to a surprise inspection. And I had one of my runners, and he saw the car pull up, came running in. Sarge, brigade CSM, the colonel are here. It's like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
He started yelling down the halls, and they came through and did a quick whip through, and they found the booze they were looking for. They found
Yeah.
the booze, and I was the last one. I was left behind in the room to issue the words of impending doom.
Yeah.
There were going to be counseling statements, and as I was shaking my finger, behind me, one of the wall locker doors opened up. 4 strippers fell out. Thud, 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 thud. It's like, the hell?
Well, at least they had them secured for the inspection.
They didn't get seen, which was the important part.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you hanging from the belly in your finger? That was 3 a.m. this past Saturday.
We actually had a list of 3x5 cards with the names of our new privates. Went up to PFC E3 in the Army, and we had we would shuffle 3x5 cards and fan them out, and whoever had CQ would pick a name, and if that name was caught hanging from the female dorm, it was a 6-pack. Or else bought him a 6-pack.
Yeah.
It was just one of the games we had.
Oh, yes, the fun days. Living in the barracks.
Defense love is. Oh yes, and Frisky. Speaking of strippers,
Speaking of strippers,
speaking of strippers, a gentleman's establishment in Wichita, Itchy Paw Falls, had some straight line winds
Oh,
allegedly. I think it was probably a tornado touchdown because the damage is extremely localized and extremely.
yeah. No, it's a downdraft.
Is it downdraft?
Downdraft microburst because all the damage is in a straight line.
Well,
none of it's rotated.
Anywho,
I don't think which one it would be because there's
The-
so many to choose
overall, Loop 11 and
Okay, I think I
Seymour
know-
Highway.
I think I know where you're
That
talking
shopping center,
about. Yeah, that whole shopping center.
Maximus behind it
Okay.
was the premier gentleman's establishment in Ichipaw.
Oh my.
And they were conducting business when the downburst hit,
Oh Lord.
and a whole bunch of Southern boys jumped on the strippers and covered them with their bodies to protect them. John was telling me about it. I went, huh? Well, 2 marriages and a pregnancy will come out of that.
Yeah.
all of
Ah,
these
she
you-
starts giggling.
Did all of these gentlemen have the right haircuts? And yeah.
Yeah, probably the mullets. How many DLI beds are double occupied? Most of them.
Oh, if he hasn't seen any titty bars around Fort Sill, y'all were going down the wrong road.
Yeah, you obviously were not looking.
Y'all went down the wrong road.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where I can see a name of a bar and go,
Yeah.
strip club.
You talk about restaurants, though, especially Vietnamese
No, she's
restaurants,
getting away from the strippers.
Asian restaurants. And I have stories, but those are from a different world, different time.
genre.
Just because one of my former flight engineers married a pair of them in Thailand and
Woohoo!
now has a bar on Patpong Road
Thailand.
Thailand.
and 4 kids.
Only 4.
But we had eaten in this restaurant back in the 70s in Taipei, Taiwan, called Genghis Khan. And he owned a restaurant, a guy named Jimmy Shin. He owned a restaurant. I don't know what his real name was. He just said call him Jimmy. But his brother owned a furniture store called Asian Furniture. And everything Asian Furniture made was specifically built to fit in airplanes.
Oh, okay.
So it could be hauled back to the
That's
So
right.
it could be
States.
hauled
A
back
very
to the States.
niche market.
Dad was in Taipei for a while.
So 1979, we start hearing rumors in Jacksonville, Florida, there's a new Chinese restaurant / Mongolian barbecue opening.
Genghis Khan.
And everybody's going, yeah, this could be interesting.
Greg ate there.
Yeah. Yep. Greg, he went to Jacksonville, Florida to Mandarin Center, opened another restaurant, and we hit it on opening night. And there was a line out the door of Westpac sailors. And we ate there actually all the way up to 82 till I left, till I transferred. And never, ever got a menu. We would walk in the door, the waitress would look and go, line's back there.
That's like getting a menu at Chewy's. Seriously?
Mongolian barbecue is excellent if it's done right. It is the worst garbage on earth if it's cooked wrong. And you really good Mongolian barbecue has a fried egg on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't realize that. But sadly, Jimmy got killed in a robbery in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Hmm.
Somebody tried to break in as he was closing up, and they killed him for the receipts, and his wife let the store go.
Like you do.
So speaking of Westpacs, Dad and I used to watch the old match game at noon. And they had this one where they've got a guy, mid 70s, they've got a guy who's a E5 Crow.
Yeah.
And he's a recruiter for the U.S. Navy.
Yeah.
And Gene Rayburn looks at him and he says, "You enjoying it?" He says, "This is the most fun I've had since I joined the Navy." And I popped off and said, "I guess he's never made a Westpac."
Yeah.
And my dad goes, now this is my dad who had been to Vietnam, Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines.
Yeah.
He goes, "What's a Westpac?"
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I had to explain the concept of a Westpac
Western Pacific?
and the kind of things that might or might not take place in port cities, especially Then I had to explain Olongapo.
Hong Kong, Singapore,
Subiac.
Olongapo,
Yeah.
Sanaheeb, Bangkok,
To my 80-year-old father.
who had probably been there and done all
All
of
of that, but he wanted to know that I knew what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there are what are called Liberty ports all over the world that the Navy knows. And specific bars are always called out.
Thou shalt not.
Or
Thou shalt not
shall.
get caught.
Yeah.
I know how this goes.
Thou shalt not get caught.
Well, that was the nice thing about Mid Shore Patrol. Is I got a list of what was off limits. And we were forced to check those
Yep.
every night. Angeles City, oh, that was Air Force. They used to bitch at us because we'd go up there and
Tear up the bars.
no, we'd spend more money than the Air Force
Force
guys would. And they'd get all pissed off. You caused our prices to go up for things. Well, shit, if you guys spent money, you'd be getting the girls, not us.
Cedar, there is a Korean place in Wichita. It's right across the mall. The old, well, you weren't here. It's
Yeah.
the old Five Guys. It's a Korean barbecue.
I
And,
remember Five Guys, remember?
yeah, but Cedar does.
Oh, yeah, she does.
It's a Korean barbecue and hot pot. I have no
Yeah.
idea what the hell a hot pot is,
It's a
but
Japanese dish. Usually it's a
Yeesh.
pot with soup.
Oh.
That you cook. You can also cook things on top of it.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, don't fight the kangaroos in the city. No shit.
don't find the kangaroos anywhere.
Doug, yeah, right. I do know when one carrier pulled into Darwin, they actually had to cancel Liberty because they ran out of women.
One of my DIs was on that boat.
Yeah, they actually ran out of women to service the men.
Good God.
Yeah.
Seriously?
So they canceled Liberty.
Wow. Some people's kids, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Well, they ran out of beer in Iceland a couple of years ago.
What just barely ran out of?
Everything.
Well, we actually,
Because alcohol, apparently they either hid it or ran out of it.
yeah, oh God, what was that Loran station? I know which one you're talking about, Richard. It was up by Chiang Mai. No, crap. It was about as bad as the one up in Alaska, Coal Bay, because they couldn't leave people up there for long term
Okay.
because they go nuts.
If you're being sent to Alaska, you're nuts anyway.
We've got a good file place here in town. It's
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a couple of them.
yeah, well, one that's good, and one that's yeah.
The one over by Buffalo Wild Wings
Here in
in Wichita
Yeah.
Wichita.
is my personal favorite.
Yeah.
There's also one by the Starbucks on Kemp that's not bad, but I
Okay.
prefer the one over by B
Yeah.
Dubs.
The one over by Buffalo Wild Wings is good. It's correct. And Vietnamese eat there, so you know it's good.
Well, the reason,
And the
I,
menu's in English, so you can actually read it.
the reason I ask is there was one in Austin that I used to go to. And it was okay. You'd see a lot more Asians than round eyes in there. And I'm sitting there one day, and I mean, it was like, daughter, mom, grandmom, grandfather was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And grandmother comes out, I have my dish, and she comes out, brings me hot sauce.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you. And she walks off, and I dip my fork and taste it. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. So I put it in my dish. Granddaughter comes running out of the back. My grandmother just bring you hot sauce? I'm like, yeah, why? That's the family hot sauce, and we don't normally serve it. And I just
Round
looked at her and
eyes.
I said, round eyes? She says, I wouldn't put it that way, but yes. I'm like, oh, it's not bad. She's like, you like that? I'm like, yeah, I can eat that. I grew up eating hot stuff. She's like, oh, okay. After that, every time I came in, it was on my plate. Well, I'm sitting there one day, and this little guy who comes in, he's obviously a foodie
Oh.
in Austin.
Oh God.
And he orders, and they bring me mine, and here's this special
The family hot
the
sauce.
family hot sauce. And he goes, I want the hot sauce he has.
No, you don't.
And the little girl looks at him and says, are you sure? Well, he's eating it. I can take it. And I'm over there going,
Fire in the hole.
and he didn't taste it before he dumped it in his dish.
Oh, moron.
Ooh.
Moron.
And it lit him up like Christmas.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at him and I went, that's why she asked you. That's the family hot sauce.
You know, and they're-
Yeah, Tom, that's definitely true. The female commanders, quote unquote, look the other way. They either look the other way or they're running the girls out of the barracks, one or the other. And I've seen both sides of that in the military over the years.
We've got a fusion Thai place in Wichita called Thai Orchid. It's not
Yeah.
bad. It's Texas Thai. They use jalapenos for the
Right.
in place of the Thai peppers. Well, the first time I walked in there, the little Thai girl asked me, I got pepper beef, which is my standby. And she said, how hot? I said, white boy medium. She went, oh, Thai. It's like, okay.
There's a place I never got to down on College Station. It's Cajun Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Fusion. And I'm like, so they burn it and make it extra hot?
There used to be a Vietnamese restaurant, probably still is, down in the industrial section by the port in Houston.
Right.
And took my best friend down there. We were down at a gun show. This is back in the 80s. And took him down there. And actually took two friends, Bill and Richard. And we went in and sitting there, and I'm running down what I want to eat. And I didn't even think about looking at the menu. So they figured if I knew what I wanted, I had eaten Thai food before.
Mm-hmm.
And both the guys said, bring us a bunch. And I was doing satay and Penang curry and some other stuff. And beef salad.
Right.
And so they brought out this big plate of beef salad. And a typical, dip in, serve yourself. And before I could say anything, Bill takes a big old forkful of it and gets the beef and about 3 peppers.
Regret immediately ensued.
He turned about that color, immediately flashed to about that color. Sweat started pouring off of him. He started gasping. And I'm looking at him going, Bill, are you going to live? He goes, "Yeah." And the little girl came running out with milk
Mm-hmm.
and bread and butter. Because that's about the only thing that's going to knock me.
Tomato juice, bread and butter.
Didn't have any tomato juice. So get him calmed down and get him where he's breathing again. So a couple of months later, I go back up to Texarkana. And I said, what are you going to do for dinner? He says, we'll go get Mexican. Well, there was this one Mexican restaurant up there that was family owned, going back to the 40s, much like Chewy's. And the salsa was definitely like Chewy's.
I take it we're not talking about the chain.
No. This is actually it's Cafe Gutierrez, but
Yeah, okay.
Chewy is the guy that owns it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody calls it Chewy's. It's Cafe Gutierrez, but
So we had eaten there before, and Bill would never touch the hot sauce. We go in there, and he's eating the hot sauce like it's, ketchup.
Right.
because he's burned out his taste buds.
I looked at him and I said, what in the hell? I said, all the years I've known you, you've never eaten anything hot. And his wife looked at me and went, I don't know what you fed him in Houston, damn it, but now everything he wants is hot food.
Nick is good people. He's got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym up here in Owl Park. I need to start attending. But Nick is outstanding good people. He's really good people. Nick Delgadillo. He's a coach at Rip's gym.
Oh,
He's a gunny. He's a combatives guy. He's outstanding people, and I would purely hate to ever see him angry.
yeah. Yeah,
It's a large wall of meat if he gets angry.
It's all about taste. And, that's the thing.
Cedar, he is. He's doing the Grappling Gamers place in Owl Park, and across the street he has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, and he teaches starting strength weightlifting.
The
Busy man.
thing with heat is, if you grow up eating peppers, you're going to be able to eat hotter food than other people. Yankees that ketchup to them is spice
That was my grandfather.
can't come down south and eat hot food. Just like if we went down to Mexico, we wouldn't be able to eat the peppers the Mexican eats. Or go to Thailand, unless you grew up eating Thai peppers, you're not going to be able to handle the heat.
Well, and
When we did the hot sauce thing,
which we need to do another one of those because we have a shit ton more hot sauces.
yeah, we did.
I could bring some.
Oh, and we've got enough. Trust me.
Oh, this is some homemade stuff. It's mildly spicy.
Oh no, I thought the whole Midwesterners ranch dressing is spicy to Midwesterners was a joke.
Yeah.
Wow, guys.
Yeah, yeah, Tom. It's just a little bitty pepper. How hot?
Oh, sweet Jesus, yes.
Okay, so Dad grew up in Buffalo, right? Yeah, his dad was of the ketchup is spicy crowd.
Yeah.
But because Dad was in the Air Force and he spent time places far foreign, he'd eat hot stuff. We were somewhere one day, excuse me, and I ordered something and they brought it out and I said, "Now I need some hot sauce." And not the stuff you normally give him. I need hot sauce. And my dad's like, "Where did you learn to eat hot sauce like that?" And I looked at him. And I'm like, "Gee, I don't know, Dad. From the guy who ate spiced octopus at the Japanese restaurant?"
Yeah, that's true, Padre. CID and JAG always do work for the commanders of the base.
At some level.
Yeah.
No, it's spicy stuff. We've had everybody here's heard my rant about hot sauces.
Yeah.
Spicy stuff is on the same level.
Yeah.
And I've eaten some stuff that's really spicy, but I don't. Again, as I've said multiple times in the past, I'm not a masochist. I don't need to be crying to eat my food.
Yeah.
There's a Middle Eastern dish that is a mild pepper meatball. They take a pepper and they like a Scotch egg, except wrapped around a pepper instead of a egg, and they're excellent.
Yeah.
And I always consider them to be mild. I really did. It's a mild little pepper, and they wrap it in meat, they fry it, and it's really good. And a friend of mine there was an Afghan place in Amarillo briefly. We went in there and she had them and they were honest to God. And I was chowing down and happy as a clam of high tide. Look over and he is this shade and sweating. It's like, dude, I've seen you knock out an entire dish of Mexican.
Mhm.
Don't tell me that's hot. It's a different type of heat.
Well, and I don't get I want this to be so hot it burns my,
No.
I'm like you. I want it to add flavor.
Enhance the experience.
If the only flavor it adds is
Heat.
Yeah.
what's the point?
Well, it burns out your taste buds too. Yeah, Bill, you're right. Ian is a masochist.
What?
You write things on the internet and then read the comments.
No kidding, right? Evelyn, about 500 on the heat scale, where a jalapeno is 5,000 and a bell pepper is 0. The peppers in these, the ones I've had are about 500. Not jalapeno hot, but definitely not bell pepper.
So a mild hatch.
Not a mild hatch or a Mad Hatter. Matter of fact, I think there probably were some form of Mad Hatter, but
Well, I like to put jalapenos in my pho.
you also sit there and cough at me for 30 minutes sometimes too.
Well, yeah, when I get one that's full of seeds, they had they did some jalapeno poppers down at the restaurant, and I think RK was the one that handed me one of them. It was good, but it was not a seeded jalapeno. Like, oh, that's good.
Well-
Oh, that's really good.
This year,
Damn.
the first year I've actually managed to grow peppers, turned out I was part of Banana Gate.
Oh God. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Banana Gate, there's a big seed company. And they had an oopsie, and they shipped out a whole bunch of banana pepper seeds marked as jalapenos.
Okay.
And the very first year that I finally get my peppers to grow, I wind
Yeah.
up with a shit ton of banana peppers.
Oh, they're all right.
You know the one I haven't seen a lot of lately, and I haven't seen them for years? Cherry peppers.
Well, Grandpa used to eat the little red Mexican pepper, Chihuahua peppers is what he called them.
Chili beans. Pekins.
Chili Pekins, yeah.
Yeah.
But he would eat them with lima beans and cornbread.
Yeah.
You know, he just said chunk, chunk, chunk.
My grandfather used to go, he'd decide it was time to make salsa about the time peppers came into season.
Yeah.
And he'd come back and he'd have like a brown paper bag, the full size one.
Yeah.
Full of cherry peppers, another one full of jalapenos, another one full of banana peppers. And then he'd have like a 10-pound sack of onions and a 20-pound sack of tomatoes. And it was literally, he had an industrial meat grinder because his dad had run a butcher shop.
Yeah.
And he'd just sit there and feed peppers and onions and everything through it. And it would come out and it would be orange.
Yeah.
And then it would sit in the refrigerator for about a week and it'd be this evil green oil on top.
My dad, everywhere we went overseas, he had this little pepper plant. He would take this little pepper plant, had these little purple, a little bigger than a marble, round purple peppers.
Oh no.
I've never seen them since. I know they make purple peppers. I just haven't seen them. And he would gather the peppers. He put them in a jar of bourbon in a dark corner of the pantry. And then when the jar was full, he would get onions and tomatoes, and he'd invite a whole bunch of engineers over, and they would make salsa.
Mm-hmm.
And you always tell that it must have been really great salsa because you get an engineer take a little, and, oh, it's good, oh, it's good. It's like, no, no. Or my dad had a layer of tar on his tongue from pipes and stuff that the peppers had to get through first.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that I've never liked peppers like Dad did. I mean, if you think Jim drowns his eggs in Tabasco, you never watch my dad.
Right.
The eggs will be swimming in orange gravy.
And my dad was the same way up until he got into his 70s.
He peppered everything, and I always thought that I couldn't understand how. And about 10 years or so ago, I was making a sandwich, and I had jalapenos and pepper rings, and then a couple of dashes of Cholula. I'm looking at it going, "Wow, okay then,
You are your daddy.
I guess I is."
Yeah, the funny one was when dad died, the hospital called me. They're like, we tried to give him a swallow test today, and he refused it. And I looked at it, and I just said to the nurse, "You tried to give him scrambled eggs, didn't you?"
Mm.
And she goes,
Yeah, that's standard.
"Yeah, how did you know that? And how did you know from his refusing the swallow test that we tried to give him scrambled eggs?" I said, "Well, okay, my dad has not willingly eaten a scrambled egg since 1964. She says, "Why?" I said, "Okay,
They
Dad
were
was in the
green.
Air Force. They sent him to Vietnam for a year.
They were green.
They were green.
And the only eggs he could get were dehydrated and they were green. And
Yeah.
he swore to God he would never eat another scrambled egg. He'd eat fried eggs."
Sir Brass quote: "Wouldn't you said peppers would hybrid with anything near it faster than a VD and strip club?" Yes.
Yeah.
If you have two peppers, two different varieties of capsicum anywhere within blowing distance,
Bee distance.
with bee distance, you will wind up with hybridized peppers. Now, it won't be that year's fruit. The hybrid will be the seeds that grow, and then the next year's off of the seeds. So it's a year or two down the road, but they will hybridize
No,
with
it
a
won't.
quickness.
It's not a year down the road.
We got
I
some,
learned that the hard way
Yeah,
because I planted the jalapenos next to bell peppers,
Dad did the same thing.
and the wind blew, and my grandmother was less than happy with me with hot bell peppers
And mild jalapenos.
and mild jalapenos.
Yep.
And Grandpa wasn't real happy either.
That's why I tend to plant my peppers with the same SHU level, My Mad Hatters are about 500. My Shishitos are about 500. And the Texas A&M jalapenos, if I ever find one again, was about 500. And people ask me, why do you, it's all the same heat level.
If they cross pollinate, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, no, it doesn't matter, but the jalapenos have a different taste than the Mad Hatters, which have a different taste than the Shishitos. They're berries. It's like strawberries don't taste like elderberries. It don't taste like blueberries. It don't taste like blackberries. Peppers are the same way. It's a berry, guys.
And if you'll remind me, I can talk to some folks I know down around that small agricultural mechanical college when it's that time of year next year.
No, Sarah, I've never tried to grow peri-peri. I have a black thumb, so I don't grow anything. I've killed a cactus, okay?
I love peri-peri, but I love the peri-peri, the dish. The peppers are at the high end of not tolerable for me. And I can't see growing an entire peri-peri because peri-peris are prolific. You plant a peri-peri bush, you're going to have peppers. You're going to have peppers for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't see planting that much devil hate for one dish of peri-peri chicken.
Yeah, I killed a cactus. RK, that would be nice considering we need rain badly.
Yeah, we got one coming up. It's hitting South Texas at an angle
Harold.
Tropical Storm Harold.
Uh,
At an angle, it's probably going to cut right through us.
so it went from Hillary to Harold.
No, this is a different one.
This is a different storm. Hillary
Different.
was California.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's still
It's
the
Pacific.
remnants.
Hillary Pacific. The Hillary is hitting L.A. This is Harold. It's out
Harold
of
came out of the
Atlantic,
Gulf.
Atlantic Basin.
Oh, okay. Well, folks, we've wasted another hour of your time.
Oh wow, we have.
Oh,
Damn.
seed index is hundreds in central Indiana. Wow. Well, we have not seen rain in over a
Not wild.
month.
Not wild.
No, that storm that blew through that took out the strip club.
No,
drop
there
any
was no
here.
rain.
No,
Was
It
there?
was
didn't
no
drop
rain
any here.
Everybody's like,
You might have dropped it in Electra, but not here.
no, it didn't even come over us. I watched it go. I'm going, that looks kind of nasty, but it's blowing the wrong way for us to get
For
it.
some reason in Wichita County, you can talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Storms hit the Wichita County line and go, whoa, and they go around everything in Wichita County. It's
Red River.
it's
That's
like
what does it.
they're scared of us or something.
I'm curious as to what the. I got to see what the temperature
Catfish
is.
are
here,
getting ticks.
Yeah.
Oh, catfish sounds good.
right? Oh, 101 feels like 105.
Oh, that's a nice balmy day.
Yep. Let's see what the humidity is just out of shits and giggles.
Although I've been told I'm not supposed to go outside.
Yeah.
Somebody's been putting
Humidity's up to
after sun
30%.
on my back for a week.
Oh, somebody get a little scorched.
Anyway, folks,
Well, I'm just going to say
Uh-oh.
that having been in Texas for 2 summers now, I have to be a better person because I'm not going to be able to stand hell.
Well, you know what Sheridan said, right? If I owned Texas in hell,
Yeah.
I'd rent out Texas and live in hell.
and on that note, folks, remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the
From
sweaty stuff.
DOD to hookers to food to peppers, a standard check.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We will see y'all Thursday.
Be safe, folks.
I'll have something a little less loud Thursday.
Yeah. Take care.